Imagine pouring your heart into a project, feel like you've done your best just to get feedback saying, good, but not great. Over the course of your lives, how many of you have felt that no matter how hard you try, you reach your peak, your terminal limit, your best? The moment when you realize that sometimes good isn't good enough. Raise your hand if you've ever pulled an all-nighter, finishing a project due tomorrow, or spend lots of time studying for an exam just to get feedback saying the same thing. Yeah, most of us here. That feeling that drives us to make things perfect is everywhere, especially in high school. But what happens when we keep pushing and it still doesn't feel like it's enough? Hi, I'm Celina, a student like many of you here, and I've spent my fair share of time aiming to be good enough, just to feel like it wasn't quite there. Today, I want to dive into why that feeling exists and how we can look at it differently. For students my age, good isn't good enough. It's more than just a phrase. It's an expectation we put on ourselves. We feel the pressure to be excellent, whether it's in academics, sports, or our hobbies. But we're left wondering, if we're already doing well, then why does it not feel right? In the book, What to Do When Good Enough Isn't Good Enough by Thomas Greenspan, he dives into the idea of perfectionism, especially among students. He explained that perfectionism isn't about setting high standards. It's also about being overly critical when we don't meet those standards. Greenspan shows that constant striving for flawlessness can often create stress, feelings of anxiety, or inadequacy. We set ourselves up for disappointment when we think that good isn't enough. The word good itself means to be desired or approved of. It's a mindset. Greenspan's book explains that if it's simply about a mindset, then we can shift our focus. For example, teachers usually say good job or good thinking whenever we do something well. However, we don't have to feel trapped by this mindset. We can set goals for ourselves that we believe in and desire, not just those others expect from us. School is where many students feel this pressure the most. A Yale study found that nearly 75% of students mainly reported negative feelings about school, like stress and exhaustion. These negative emotions often stem from feeling like we're never doing good enough, or that we're not meeting the high standards. For me, this feeling has all been too real. I remember the time when I stayed up doing a presentation all night because I didn't think it was good enough. My grades were fine, my work was praised, but that wasn't the problem. It was me. I wasn't satisfied. I was destroying my own sense of self-worth over an impossible goal. Research also shows that self-esteem and academic performance are linked. When students feel like they're not doing good enough, their performance can drop, which reinforces feelings of inadequacy. This cycle can be hard to break, especially if we think we must always do more to be worthy. Greenspan explained that perfectionism often starts with good intentions, aiming high and working hard. But when we're driven by fear of not being perfect, that's when it becomes damaging. He explains that the difference between healthy striving and unhealthy perfectionism, noting the latter can lead to burnout and even depression. By aiming for flawlessness, we end up creating a fear of failure that holds us back. So, how do we change this? First, by setting realistic goals. What does good look like for you personally, not for anyone else? Second, take a moment to acknowledge what you've done before moving on to the next thing. And lastly, try not to compare your journey to others. I came to a point where I knew I couldn't stop going down this path. I was risking my own mental health and my happiness over an idea of good that didn't even come from me. Now I focus on doing my best for myself, not for someone else's approval. I want to value each step, no matter how imperfect, as part of my growth. Now I want to turn it over to you. Whether you're a fellow student, a teacher, or a parent, think about this in your own life. How can you let yourself know that, and your loved ones, that they're good enough? How will you remind them that perfection is not the path to success? In fact, it is not a path at all. Let's aim to redefine what good means for each of us. Let's push ourselves, but not to the point of losing ourselves. Because sometimes being good is truly good enough. Thank you.